Now, in Syria, fighting has intensified near the Lebanese border today. Government forces are bombarding a rebel stronghold in the mountainous area, forcing more residents to cross into Lebanon. There is still relative calm in Homs, where both sides have agreed to extend the ceasefire there by another 3 days, but there have been no more evacuations from the besieged city, and thousands are still in need of aid. Well, for more on the crisis in Syria, I'm joined now by Kristalina Georgieva, the European Union Commissioner of International Cooperation and Humanitarian Aid. Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us. Now, we're talking about 9.3 million people in Syria in desperate need of aid, millions of them in hard-to-reach areas. Just how dire is their situation right now, and what do they need most?
This is the worst humanitarian catastrophe of modern times. When I think of this war, the face I see is not of a soldier, it is not of a rebel, it is the face of a child, because half of these people affected are children. Their lives are crushed, and so is the future of Syria. We cannot catch up with the increase of needs. Today, of this over 9 million people, less than half get help, many of them not on a regular basis. But the most terrible are the conditions for those in the besieged areas. What we see in Homs, yes, a victory for those who get help, but this is only 1% of the people who have no way to flee, no way to get help in.
And even in Homs, where there is a tentative ceasefire, it's still very difficult to get that aid in. What can international mediators do to exert more pressure to reach these people?
Well, the most horrible face of this war is that international humanitarian law, the law of war, is blatantly disregarded. The convoys are shot at, doctors are killed, ambulances are bombed, and what we see in Homs, we see across the country. We have lost nearly 50 humanitarian workers in the crisis in Syria. So what the international community has to do is to focus on the needs of the people. What we worry about is that there is so much war of words and not enough focus on the real war, on the innocent civilians in the country. And when we mobilize our voice from the international humanitarian community to everybody else, it is about these two things. Please push for respect of international humanitarian law, push for access to those who need our assistance.
The problem is, though, not everyone says that these are innocent people. The Syrian government, for instance, says you're feeding the enemy. What's your response to that?
Well, the Syrian government is killing its own people, so I don't have much respect for this claim. We in Europe have provided $3.5 billion in humanitarian aid. Because of what we do, children get immunized, they get food. Women and men are able to survive. And I strongly believe that the millions who get help and survive because of our presence, they don't agree with the statement.
Well, Commissioner Kristalina Georgieva, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.